Hiya and welcome to the Redmen TV. Sadly, Liverpool play another game of football in a day. So we're going to build up to that. It is Liverpool v Qarabag in the Champions League. It is the last game of the league phase. Liverpool will be looking to secure their top 8 spot tomorrow night. I'm delighted to be joined by Ben and Sam. And I am going to start it with Ben. I think your hair's doing brilliantly. It was an umbo where you announced it ages ago, and honest to God, I want to give it. I want to give it a shout.
Looks alright, doesn't it?
I've not seen you in maybe like.
We saw each other. You give me a ticket for one of the games. It might have been since then. That might have been ages. That was ages ago.
That might have been ages ago.
Yeah,
I just think it's done incredible. I wanted to shout it out. Look at his hair,
Thanks very
guys.
much.
Absolutely
Cheers.
incredible. Anyway, actually onto the football. Let's get straight into it. We won't do a long segment on Qarabag because I'm going to be dead honest with you. I looked at their players earlier, didn't know a single one of them. So, that's my problem. But also because I actually think it's more important to talk about Liverpool. But we will get the Qarabag stuff out of the way first. They are 18th in the UCL. They've played 7 games, won 3, drew 1 and lost 3. They have beat Frankfurt, Benfica and Copenhagen. And their most notable thing that I took from all of this was that they actually drew with Chelsea. So we can't underestimate them, Sam.
No, definitely. I was looking because I think after we got the win against Marseille, I started to look at then who we're likely to play, because I don't know if you remember from last year, first and second play, it's not set to do a draw, but it's the winners of 16th versus 17th and like 15th versus 18th. I think they're pretty much set how they do it. They spread out like that. So ours is then down to 19th and 20th, and then it would be 13th and 14th. So as long as we stay where we are, it doesn't matter if it does Madrid swap places or not, we would play the winners of those games. It's not set, but those 4 teams become your pool.
Yeah.
So I was keeping an eye on it, and it's funny because I was looking at it, it's like PSV, Qarabag and Galatasaray are all in for a shout against us, and obviously not great results against them, but you're looking at them thinking, actually, like, could be a lot worse with Barcelona lingering in there and teams like Napoli, do you know what I mean? So they're actually a team that if results go a certain way, we could end up playing them again in that 16.
Yeah, we could do. But it's mad going into this game because once again, you don't want to underestimate them. And look, I think some people maybe underestimate PSV, but like PSV, I know of PSV, like. Dutch league's quite, well known. I've got nothing to tell you about Qarabag. I don't know how they're going to play. I just know that Liverpool this season have been very up and down. They lose concentration in a lot of games of football. And even though I don't know this team, I am slightly worried what happens if Liverpool just feel the pressure and what happens, from the weekend gets dragged into this.
Yeah, I mean, we feel mentally fragile, don't we? And I think it'll be one of those where the first goal will be crucial, and it actually, in a way, it reminds me a little bit of, you might remember the 17-18 season when we blew that lead away at Sevilla, and that we were going to go through there if we'd won that night, and then the next game was like Spartak Moscow, and it's a bit like, and then we scored early and won 7-0, and I'm not saying we're going to win 7-0, we don't look like a team capable of blowing anybody away 7-0 at the moment at all, but I think scoring early on in that final game just settled everybody's nerves down. I think that is what will happen here. Look, even if we draw it, we would do well to not qualify in the top 8 here, I think, ultimately. But you're right. I think obviously the PSV game was a bit of a wake up call at the time, because I felt, and I still feel in a way, that the English teams, just at the level we're all operating at, even the worst English teams are better than most teams in Europe. So, it felt like, and I think that was quite the case in point with that was the Frankfurt game. We were going through a dreadful run of results, and we go away to Frankfurt, supposedly, one of the best teams in Germany, and whack them, away from home. Obviously, and then the Champions League over the course of the season has represented a bit of escapism at times, I think, this season. Obviously we've won away at Inter, we've beaten Real Madrid. I think we did well to win last week. So I'd like to think that can continue here, because I think the manager has a serious problem if he doesn't. If he ends up in the playoffs, then, good luck to you, mate.
I think what we need to do as a fan base as well is jib all this arguing about in, out, shake it all about, whatever, and just actually like go to Anfield and roll them on. And I know all the older fellas, I was just telling you before we started, always tell me, oh, Anfield is always dictated by what's on the pitch. Remember that. But I do think you can start as you mean to go on. I think us as fans need to really show the lads that no matter what happens, we're behind them because they are fragile, like you said. And I think that might help. I thought the PSV game, we expected to win that game. I did. I walked up expecting it. And that kind of plays out. And Virg tries to tip it over the bar. The beginning of the game doesn't help. But,
my word,
so stuff like that needs to stop happening. But I think if the players go in with a serious head on, fans go in there with the mentality of this is going to be in our game. Generally, I think we seem to do a bit better than when there's that. Oh, it's Burnley at home, or it's Leeds. Everybody kind of has that arrogance, and then it falls off. But I think the PSV game for me was the end of an era. I think we'll look back in years to come, and that was the end of the old way of Liverpool. And whatever happens next, I think after that, I think a lot of people in the club, and from managers down to the directors to the players, probably realised that there needed to be something different happening at Liverpool. And I said, regardless of what happens now, I think people will maybe look back at that and go, after that, things started to maybe change, and then it'll get better in the
we saw that immediately, didn't we? Because then he dropped Salah for the game against West Ham immediately afterwards, and that's sort of what starts the unbeaten run that wasn't particularly great. But on the pitch, definitely. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, time will tell off the pitch, but it's an interesting point.
And on that, I've mentioned that I don't actually think teams fear us this season. And look, Qarabag are facing Liverpool. It's possibly one of their biggest games in their entire existence. Coming to Anfield, I mean, what an away day that is for their fan base and all of these things. But they are 18th in the Champions League at the moment. They will be looking to try and move up and solidify the fact that they can go into the next round. And to be honest, the playoffs for them is brilliant, isn't it? So, like, for us, I'm just sat here thinking, I don't think anyone comes to Anfield and fears us. Hopefully these do, but like that is another factor we've got to put in here. They're gonna want to put on a show. They're gonna want to show everyone because this is one of the biggest games for them in their existence.
Yeah, and I mean, by all intents and purposes, I mean, I can't tell you much about Qarabag either, but they look like a fun team to watch. They've won 3, they've lost 3, they've scored 13, and they've conceded 15. So they are clearly quite a up and down, end to end team, and that in a way plays into our hands. But Chloe's right, like, there's not many teams coming to Anfield petrified at the moment. Teams are coming, going, we might never get a better opportunity to get a result, we might never get a better opportunity to win as somebody like ourselves, so we just got to be so wary of that. They've
lost to Ajax, Napoli and Athletic Club.
Away were they?
I'll have to go and have a look at that.
The Ajax game was at home. They drew with Chelsea at home. The Ajax game was a bit of a mad one. I think Ajax won that quite late. I think, so they give them. Ajax haven't had a great season, but they give them a run for the money, like so. But the Chelsea one, I think they scored quite late as well to get a draw. Yeah. But it is far because it's one because isn't there a Kazakhstan team in it as well? So it's like it was one of those. So we are better off having it at home.
That's massive here because if I'm thinking more on their part, if we were going to Qarabag, we'd be concerned because of the distance and the travel.
It's a bigger time difference as well.
People don't realise it, but as a footballer, it wipes out a day of your prep.
At
home, it doesn't. You live in Cheshire or Formby and you come in, it's easy. Whereas when you're travelling from Qarabag, it's literally a day and a half of their time. They'll be 3 hours behind, probably ahead, as well, I would imagine, because it's Kazakhstan's a long, Qarabag's a long way away, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think that'll be a thing here where I think they will have to do a bit of adjusting. And I think the distance. And I was just checking it. Did you find out, have they won any away?
I won't lie, I thought Ben had reeled them off.
Sorry, no.
Frankfurt was at home for them. Ajax was at home where they lost. Napoli was away that they lost. Then they had Chelsea at home, but they drew in that game. Athletic Club was away.
Athletic Club,
No, they lost away at Athletic Club. That's what I'm seeing it.
But that was away.
Yeah.
And then they beat Copenhagen at home. So the away games, that might.
Because that's what I was trying to figure out. Because I think a lot of these teams in Europe, like, do you remember when we played Red Star Belgrade in the year we won it and we got beaten? We were actually in a bit of trouble that year. And that was away. But then as soon as Red Star came to Anfield, they just had nothing to offer. And I do wonder a little bit with these teams. Obviously, look, we can't take anyone for granted. I've just said we need to be up for it. The players do as well. But I do think going to Anfield, playing in a big stadium, with maybe a different type of pitch because of the weather, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a big factor in how they generally do.
Yeah. Someone in the comments is saying that there's a mic problem, so don't worry, I'll get someone to go and look at that. Let's see how you're all doing. You're all jumping in the chat. Morning everyone. I'm not gonna lie to you, Ben. How do you feel? Because I think vibes and mood is quite a big thing going into games of football. And let me tell you, if you were to ask me Thursday how I felt going into Bournemouth, I had hope. I think that's the word I'd say. I had a bit of positivity. I had a bit of hope. And going into this game, I mean, look, everyone should expect Liverpool to beat Qarabag because that's just the standard that Liverpool are at. But I just don't feel as, like, Liverpool could secure top 8 here. And I don't feel as... Top 4, yeah. And I don't feel like, really happy to...
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? I think it's been a rough month in lots of different ways, not just the results in the league, but also, like, seeing City go out and sign Semenyo and Gay doesn't help. Yeah. And knowing that those were 2 targets that we had, particularly Gay, and we failed to get them over the line, and right now they're the types of players we need, and they've gone to a rival. I think is a big thing for the fan base. The very up and down nature of the season, obviously as it was at the time, trying to justify the unbeaten run, the 13 games unbeaten, knowing it wasn't particularly strong, and then obviously that finally coming to fruition on Saturday and getting beat again in the manner that we did. And we've kind of, what I don't like about it is we've kind of become the team that concedes late goals. Like, we've never been that. We've always been like a year ago at 2-2, you'd be saying Liverpool are going to go, going to be the ones to go and win that game. And now it just feels after Palace, after Chelsea, following on from those games, Fulham, we just feel so fragile. So going into this, as I said, I love the Champions League games. I've been to them all this season at home. Knowing that a draw basically gets you into the top 8 and gets you into the round of 16. And if the manager does stay until the end of the season, which I still think he will personally, it represents an opportunity to try and do something different. You don't want to get yourself into a position where you've got to win it to be in it next season. You don't want to let it get that far gone. But there is a potential to, if you're going to have the round of 16 game at home, if you get in the top 8, that's a guarantee. If you get a couple of favourable draws, you can find yourself in a semi-final come May, or come April, like that. It's of course you can, and you've got to think that way. Otherwise, what's the point? Yeah,
Liverpool do feel like very much a top 4 chasing side, someone who you hope does a miracle in the Champions League. And look, I sit here and say miracles in Champions Leagues. When you look at actual individual players, like, how dare I sit here and say miracle in the Champions League? Because I've got the likes of Florian Wirtz, Ryan Gravenberch, Dom Szoboszlai, I've got Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Andy Robertson. I've got world-class operators on my football pitch. It's not like we're underdogs, but the way Liverpool have been playing, it just feels highly unlikely that we would go and, win a Champions League. But for me, a lot of our focus and attention has to be on the Champions League, because this is the big competition that you're actually capable of having a chance at winning in. And Liverpool, even when they're not at their peak, they have to win trophies and pick up trophies along the way. That's what big football clubs do. Man United have been horrendous in the league for like 10 years. They've still gone about picking up, the likes of the Europa League and cup competitions along the way. That's just what you've got to do as a big club. And for me, that's why so much pressure is now on the Champions League, Sam.
Yeah, and I kind of allude to what Ben's just said. I think the draw plays into it. I mean, you mentioned there about United, and the United won the Europa League the year after we got to the final of the Europa League, and the run we had compared to the run they had, the teams that were in it was just chalk and cheese. You've just got to get that year where you're on the right side of the draw. Inter Milan got to the final last year. I mean, I don't know how to be Barca, but they weren't good enough
It happens in 2022, doesn't it? I mean, we're a much better team that year, but we get. Is it Porto? And then we play Villarreal in the semi, don't we?
Yeah,
because
Benfica, Benfica in the quarters.
Yeah, exactly. So you just need that little bit of, and it's, look, whatever you think of the manager, we've not had a lot of luck this season. Maybe that'll come in the second half.
And even getting Brighton in the FA Cup at home is not ideal when City are getting Swindon. You do have these years, and sometimes, like under Rafa, like you tend to forget the surrounding context when you win a trophy. So if Liverpool win the Champions League, largely this season will be forgotten. Rafa had a terrible season in the Premier League in his first season. Literally, we finished 5th, below Everton. When there was only 4 teams who should even get near the Champions League, we actually finished out of it. So that, It's happened before. I think the way the Swiss league is set up now is that it's probably less likely to happen, because I think generally you'll get the best 10 teams in the top 12 places, which means that 6 or 7 of them are going to be in the last 16. So you're not going to get that. Last year we got lucky with City, Real Madrid getting each other, but then we got PSG because they had a terrible start to the season. They had a horrendous start in the Champions League, and they were one game from going out. If they lost to City, they wouldn't have been in the thing, never mind beating us and winning it. So that bit kind of doesn't play into. I think it's going to be hard for us to win the Champions League. You know, we're capable, yeah. I disagree with something you just said there, Chloe. I don't think our team is world class anymore. I think that's the problem.
I think you've got world class operators, is what I said.
I think there's 3 or 4 lads in our squad now who you could consider potentially world class.
I just don't think you can use the excuse as underdogs with this side.
Oh no, we're not underdogs.
Like, there's been times where Liverpool have been underdogs, you know, we've managed to go to the Champions League final. Probably people didn't, you know, kind of expect it. Where this season, I don't think you can use you can't use an excuse of Liverpool aren't expected to do well in the Champions League.
But I think
because
Bayern,
we've got players.
Barca, Real Madrid over 2 legs. I mean, we beat them this year, but I think Real Madrid in group stages tend to, and Alonso was there, is different now, blah, blah, blah. But I actually think Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, maybe PSG.
I think Arsenal right now.
Yeah, definitely. City are up and down. You don't really know what you're going to get from them. We'll find out when they come to Anfield in a couple of weeks.
Even Villa at the moment, would you put?
Yeah, well, they're obviously not in the Champions League. But I mean, if we come up against them now, really now, take yourself out of the Liverpool bubble with all of our favourite players, we are underdogs, which actually might suit us. Because I think we expect our lads to win every week. And I'm not excusing what happened the weekend, by the way. It was wild. But I think that's our problem a little bit, is that you look at the squad and we're going, Andy Robbo, Maka, Salah. Like, for me, them 3 have got, you know, we've got a question mark. And I think us being, we should beat Qarabag. We're better than Qarabag. We have to beat them. No excuses. But I don't think we're as good as maybe we think we are. And that's what's making us so angry all the time. And the Champions League could actually be, that could really work in our favour.
Yeah, hopefully it does. I mean, look, we've done it before where we've not been the best side, and we've gone through there. I mean, arguably we're the best side in Europe last season, and it lasted for half a season, and then you realised what it took out of us.
It's interesting, you know. I mean, it is all ifs and buts, to quote an old friend. But if we'd gone through against PSG, how would that have continued the momentum in the season? Because in that week you lose the cup final and you lose. It was the way around.
We lost the Pens, lost Trent, and then lost the.
But the point is, you go out. Basically, you go out of those competitions, and the league was sewn up. So from March, you're not really playing for anything. You're playing to get the league over the line, and and then we start dropping games once the league is done. And you know, obviously, there's chats about Ibiza and whatever else, blah blah blah. But actually, if we'd made it to a Champions League semi-final last season and continued that intensity, would the feel be different now? Like, you know, because reality is what we're looking at here is a 12-month stretch where we've not been great. Like, if you cast your mind back to the first game of last year, calendar year 2025, it's the United game at home where we drew 2-2, and Maguire should win it for them late. And from there, like, we beat Tottenham well. We do well in Paris to win, but we don't play well. And there aren't many great performances between then and now. Real Madrid at home in November, probably. You know, I thought we were good away at Newcastle, even though they come back into it. So, we're now talking about, and I think that's the problem.
If you look at the results in the league, right? I looked back at this because someone said to me something about that, and actually, mate, we won something like 8 out of 10. Before we actually won the league. It's but everybody, as I said, you have revisionism depending on where you want to go with it. So we got beat by PSG, we got beat by Newcastle and Plymouth, but then we won so many games in the league, and there's only 3 blips really from that Man United game all the way through to Tottenham was Fulham, where we were rightly beaten. We weren't very good that day, and the 2 draws against Everton and Villa, which were the brutal games, great games of football, to be fair. I mean, that derby still haunts me, seeing that goal go in. But you are right, it's the momentum. It's the way it can just go. Too big. Because I remember saying that week, we've got 3 cup finals, PSG, Newcastle, and whoever we were playing in the league. We need to win. City, it was City, wasn't it? If we win those 3 games, our season could be amazing. And we beat City and went out and lost. and it's just what it leaves you with, isn't it? It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. We will get into the Liverpool side of it in just a minute. Before then, I'd just like to say that their manager is called Gerbenov, and I think that is absolutely sensational, by the way. I thought that deserved an absolute shout out. But also, the 12th time Azerbaijan, I can't even say it.
Azerbaijan.
Thank you. Champions have never progressed past the group stage of a UCL campaign before. Their first and only previous adventure in 17-18 ended at the first hurdle. So, that is what we're up against. Liverpool should be able to get over that, but we will see. Let's just go to this quick little break, and then we'll be back with the Liverpool perspective.
Hello everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining me. I'm here to tell you about this incredible giveaway that we are doing for our legend subscribers on Redmen Plus. This is the Craig Johnson signed Crown Paint shirt. It is absolutely glorious. Every single month we give away something to our legends on redmenplus.com. It's a great way of showing your support for the channel. It's a great way to get closer to us as well, because you'll be in the Discord group and there's loads of other benefits, merchandise, discounts, all that type of stuff. But the big one for me would be this. It would be the opportunity to get into the prize draw for these incredible signed items. Craig Johnson Crown Paint shirt signed by the Liverpool legend. Join up this January as a legend on redmenplus.com.
Thanks so much for joining us once again. Let's get on to the Liverpool perspective then. We'll start with some team news. For anyone who doesn't know, Arne Slot's press conference is at 3:30 today, so we won't know anything. We are just guessing. But obviously at the weekend, Gomez suffered an injury, obviously. It was to do with a clash of bones from him and Ali. Apparently, I'm hoping he'd be all right. He tried to continue, but
clash
couldn't.
Of bones.
Yeah, knee on knee, innit?
Is that the medical term?
Well, look,
is that what the
he's gone off injured,
as?
so I was just putting it on him. Yeah, no, I'm not going to lie to you. Knowing Joe Gomez, I'm not sure he'll be fit for this game, but that remains unclear. We might hear some positive news. Alisson, who was also the other person in this clash,
Clashing the bone,
had a swollen knee, apparently. But once again, I say this because Alisson did carry on. Had a little bit of a howler as well as everybody else for their winning goal. But my point is do I trust that they'll both be fit and available? No, because it's Alisson and Gomez and they seem to get injured quite a lot. So we'll have to see on him. Konate may return, which we can hope. And then Chiesa, who knows what's going on with him because he's missed the last two. Could he be out once again? So we are very, very thin in terms of lads here.
It's frustrating, isn't it? And that obviously it goes back to the summer. Because the reality is, we've got relatively lucky with injuries this season. I guess Leone goes, but you can't even count him because you only see him for an hour. Yeah. But
and what a good hour it was.
Yeah, fantastic hour at home to a league championship side in the League One now. I think. Anyway, but obviously. Clearly, Konate's been through some kind of family issue, and the reality is like. You were only ever one, thing like that happening away from, and then Joe Gomez being Joe Gomez from having Endo there, wild, isn't it? And that's the position that we left ourselves.
It's crazy when you think about this, the sequence of events. Obviously, I don't know any details, and I don't really want to because it's his business. But obviously, Konate's dad, passes away, and then they have the funeral quite quickly, so it happens quite quickly. It's just England where you've got to wait for ages. So that all happened, and obviously he's got to deal with that as a family. But then to coincide with that, obviously Joe comes in, and Joe gets injured, and then in between Joe's injured, you can see the goal, and then Endo comes. It's just wild, isn't it? Like when you think of Liverpool, you could write a book about these seasons, couldn't you? Yeah. I think there's a chance that Konate be back, and I don't know about Joe, but I think that helps, doesn't it? Because let's be honest,
it helps a little bit. Yeah.
Endo shouldn't be playing. Never mind playing centre back.
It's mad because he came on and look, he's not.
Wasn't his fault, was it?
He's not brilliant, but he's just.
Bless him.
But he's not the worst one on the pitch since he comes on, which is absolutely you've got unbelievable footballers there.
You get what you're gonna get from Endo. Yeah. Whatever he's capable of, he will give you, and I love that about him. But it's not fair to ask him at his age and stage of his career, and he was never going to be the long-term solution to have an impact against lads who are clearly, more rest. I don't know. I just think we're asking a lot of people like Endo, and it's
especially
it's
when he
fair on
doesn't
him.
play. Like, he's got no rhythm, he's got no minutes in his legs, and then you just lob him on. Like, I don't know what you're supposed to expect of him there, by the way. And I don't actually think he does that bad. I mean,
but it goes back to I know what you were saying, Chloe, about like there are world class individuals in that, but it just goes to show like how far off a world class squad we are when you compare it to Arsenal's squad and all the options they've got. You know,
it's frightening.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, absolutely mad. If it is in Liverpool's hands though, Ben, and that is a positive. We are on 15 points to not qualify in the top 8. You know, our result wouldn't have to go our way, but then other results wouldn't have to go our way either. So
I think PSG play Newcastle, and if there's one more fixture like that, it'd be pretty hard for us to not qualify.
We'll look at the fixtures in a minute to see who what impacts on Liverpool. Which also, if anyone was expecting to watch some Champions League football tonight, it all kicks off tomorrow at 8, sadly. So you don't get that enjoyable 2-day spell where you get to watch something, but it is in Liverpool's hands, and therefore Liverpool, all I have to do is go and get their side of the job done. They've not been great at doing that this season, but at least we're not relying on other things to go our way as well as us winning games of football.
I mean, yeah, and that's the reality that we're in, and we're lucky where like you say, even a draw basically guarantees us, and I think a draw does guarantee us, and even a loss, probably has us ended up sitting 7th or 8th by the end of the night. And look, the solace you can take in that, it'd be funny because if we all come out that ground, we've lost that game, we'll be fuming, even though we're in the top 8, obviously. But the solace that you can sort of take in it is that I think compared to last season, what we've learned from the last season is that it doesn't really matter where you finish in that top 8. It's like you were saying before, it's all luck of the draw. So obviously, ideally, like, you want to finish 4th, 3rd or whatever, but like going and breaking your neck to go and win all 8, like we basically tried to do last year, to then be rewarded with PSG. I think they've recognised that doesn't really matter. Like, team like PSG, a team like in this case Man City, Dortmund are mid-table, Leverkusen are mid-table, Juventus are mid-table, Inter are mid-table, Atalanta. Like, there's all these good teams who you can end up just playing.
We're going to end up playing, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Exactly. So it's kind of like there will be like, if we draw or get beat tomorrow, which I don't think we will. I think we'll win tomorrow. But like, if as long as you're in that top 8, kind of doesn't matter because you're at home in the second leg in the round of 16, and it's kind of like look at the draw. Who you're going to end up. You can end up with somebody shit. You can end up with somebody good.
And you're buying to just put a nothing team out and get beat 2-1, us win 7-0. We might go above them. Second, then you get the real good draw. That ain't going to happen, though, is it?
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah, because in our look, that would happen. We'd end up 7. We'd end up playing Juve.
Yes.
That because it'll fall elsewhere. Like, that's what I mean. It doesn't matter. Just get in the top 8. Worry about it later.
I agree with that. Just get your side of the job done and don't have any more games of football because let me tell you, I can't be watching more games of Liverpool playing football than I've already got.
Clearly, we can't do twice a week neither, so it doesn't help. Like,
no,
yeah, and that for me has been, I mean, look, we're talking about it. I don't think it's going to happen, but the playoff for me, all the way through this season, that's kind of been where I've been waiting to press the button on the manager. Because if you end up playing in the playoffs and then going out in the playoffs, you just can't do that, given how the rest of the season's gone. So it's going to be a big break for him, I think, to get in the top 8, to be able to have a breather somewhere in February and not have to think about the Champions League for another 6 weeks or so, which might do him some good. So
no, definitely.
Yeah, we hope so anyway. I got told when this new league phase came in that it'd be far more interesting, and I feel like I've been lied to because I've not, maybe the first 2 weeks were interesting, and since then I've been bored, to be quite honest with you.
I think the problem is there's quite a lot of variables. So I'm looking at the games tomorrow, and there are some. It is tomorrow. There are some quite interesting games, but I don't really know what they all mean. So, Napoli playing Chelsea. I know Napoli are down there. So
they're one place out. They have to win, and it's at home. So.
They have to win. PSG are playing Newcastle. That's quite tasty. But it's a lot of Dortmund are playing Inter. There's a lot of groundwork to be done to figure out what exactly everything means. And when there's 18 games going on at once, like there is tomorrow, which sounds great, it's actually
no, I can't
actually that's
it'll flip
and
around.
Also, I'm in the ground, so I just won't be able to know. Let's be perfectly honest.
Weren't we? So you could keep across all of it.
I think as well, because of where we are as a team, you're very sort of insular, focused on Liverpool's issues, or, you know, when we win a game and we don't win a game, what's going on around the club. I think last year, because you were so cosy, you could sit back and look, and last year we saw PSG and City struggling, and Madrid, all three of them didn't finish in the top 8, believe it or not. And then they played each other, didn't they, City and PSG, which meant that City had to beat Bruges at home. I remember they went 1-0 down.
Yeah.
And it was like, you're going out the Champions League again, and they come back. I think, but looking at what you're saying there, PSG Newcastle's massive, because the likely is if there's a winner there, the other team's going out. Chelsea are playing Napoli away. Chelsea are 1 goal above Barcelona. If Chelsea don't win, I think there's a realistic world where Chelsea and Newcastle don't get in the top 8. Now, fascinatingly enough, if Sporting and Barcelona win, and
you've got Inter.
But you've also got, I'm looking here, there's a very realistic chance that unless City absolutely blast Galatasaray away, which they haven't looked like doing in the Champions League this year, Chelsea, Newcastle and City finish outside. Now, think about them playing playoffs as well, around League Cup semi-finals, all 3 of them are in it, which is 2 extra games, and then 2 extra games in Feb. That's quite a lot of pressure and legs into them, which is... great for Arsenal.
You know, Arsenal will be absolutely made up with that. To me, it makes no difference at all.
I think for Chelsea,
Arsenal.
with us maybe, because obviously they're a point above us.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Let's get into the starting 11 then. I assume if Ali's fit, we're all obviously going Ali. Do we think he'll be sound?
I think so. Yeah, you'd be shocked.
Cool. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, Ben, is the point, if he wasn't available.
But Sam's right. If he's finished the game, if he got injured in that thing where you'd have to take it. Like, I'm not, like, it's not like we've got like an academy goalie on the bench. Like we've got, you know, if
we'll probably have 2 goalkeepers on the bench, because
we get more subs in the Champions League as well.
Maybe
even 3.
No. I just mean on Saturday though. I mean, if, in that incident, if he wasn't fit, you just bring Mamardashvili on, wouldn't you? So
I wouldn't actually be that bothered. I think he's been quite poor for about 6 weeks. I think he was on Saturday as well. But yeah, I think he'll play.
Yeah. Back to right back then. Frimpong, I was devastated when he came off the pitch the other day. Simple.
It's exciting, isn't he?
I mean, I won't lie to you. It's Frimpong or Dom Szoboszlai or Curtis Jones. Like,
mad,
I'd love to say, maybe Joe Gomez, but he's not fit. 2 centre halves then. We'll do if Ibu. So if Ibu's fit, obviously Ibu cannot say. If Ibu can't make it for obvious reasons, Endo.
Yeah.
Do you know Lucky got injured as well?
Did he? Well,
ironically. He's out for 2 months.
Wonderful.
So our next defender is also back to
news.
Nallo again.
Oh, sensational. Apparently he didn't have a great time yesterday in the unders. I think it might have been Saturday. Let's go with the left back then. Are you Robbo or are you Kirkaz?
Kirkaz.
I'm going Kirkaz,
Okay, I'm fine with that. Midfield then. Now, here's the thing is, look, I'm praying that Ekatike has got some form of fitness, because my God, he came on the pitch against Bournemouth and he couldn't move, that lad. So I'm really, really hoping he is fit and available to start. But Sam, you've been going with like 4 midfielders. What are you going to do this time?
I think because of the opposition, I think you can kind of, I think you would think, unless there's a fitness issue, that this is the kind of game where you can, and you're at home, where you can go, Gakpo, Salah and a strike. So I'm going with 3. I think Graf plays. We just can't rest him at the minute. There's nowhere else there. We know Don plays. Where? I don't know.
Jones?
I would play Jones, but given that what's happened this month, I don't know what's going on. So it might be Maka, because obviously he got subbed off. I don't know. I personally would give Jones a go. I think he's had a good season. I don't know why we would even consider selling him, but I do. But it is what it is. But I would play Curtis.
I think just Curtis has got more legs. So
I think so. Yeah, I think he has anyway, but he hasn't been starting him, has he, for whatever reason? So I would play Curtis.
Curtis, are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'll go Curtis.
You rest Maka, yeah.
I just think Maka. I think McAllister struggles to play twice a week.
Yeah, massively. Massively.
I mean, he's struggled all season, to be perfectly honest with you. Who are we going with our front 3 then?
I don't think we've got much of a choice.
I mean, you could go Rio.
I was just going to say, is it a game where you basically in, and Gakpo's been fucking rubbish?
So let's not beat around the bush here.
And he comes, he comes on at the weekend, thought it was bright, should have won a penalty. Oh my God, I was shouting at the screen, fall over.
Yeah, he should have.
You know,
Oh, we wouldn't have got that. They wouldn't have given us that.
I think there was enough contact there.
Hopefully, yeah.
But you know, he comes on, tries and tries against Barnsley. You know, and I just wonder. Eventually, you've got to take a gamble with him. You know what I mean? And it's about as safe as a Champions League game as you're going to get. I don't think he will.
I think the reason why he won't is if you look at without, we're not doing anything about Bournemouth, but if you look at the makeup of who was in that box at the end of the game, you know, we lost last year. Jota, Núñez, and Diaz. Who were fantastic at heading the ball all over the pitch.
Yeah.
None of the replacements are really, including Hugo. But I think if you play Rio, you're massively risking, when you haven't got the ball, another player who just doesn't do anything yet, because he's not come through that physical cycle. And so I think that him getting 15 minutes at the end, for good or bad, is more likely than dropping Gakpo, who's been there and done it as bad as he's playing.
So are you going Gakpo, Ekitike, Mo?
I think you have to. I don't think you've got a choice.
Yeah.
And
It's mad, isn't it? Where's Florian going then?
Yeah, that's the only thing, and it's just whether is this a game that I was actually thinking when we were talking about that. I forgot about Florian, but actually I was thinking at the time, like, if there's never a game to just drop him in the 10, this is it. You're talking about Rio, like, so maybe you don't have Curtis or Macher in, and you just go with Grav and think, or maybe he takes Grav out and says, "You're knackered, lad, you're shattered." Yeah. We'll put one of them next to you. Curtis and Szoboszlai did a great job. What game was it? Was it Frankfurt or something like that? Did a really good job in the middle together. Maybe we do that. It'll all depend on fitness, won't it? In there,
they could play the 4-2-2-2 again.
Yeah.
In that case, it's probably Dom and it's probably Kate
and McAllister.
Kurt, McAllister, Dom, Flo, Salah, Ekitike.
That wouldn't be a bad shout either.
Gakpo, Ekitike, or Salah, Gakpo.
Yeah.
Where are we with Salah? It's so hard.
He's absolutely well and truly finished. But
but I just mean in terms of,
you can't drop him though, because he can actually play games. That's the thing.
Yeah. At least right now, there's no options. It keeps the whole situation quiet. But it's almost like I feel. I still feel I've not really been on since the whole Salah thing went down, but it's like I feel sorry for the manager in a way, because he's been put into a position where he can't really drop. I feel like, you know what I mean. But how can you justify how he played at the weekend? He's so poor, bad, so poor.
He got through a goal 3 times and just got caught up. Like but he can play. The thing is, we're at the stage now where this is why I keep saying, everyone, stop talking about sacking the manager. It's about what players we can actually get in the field. That's the most important. What are the medical staff said? Just give me 11 cards and I'll put it on the board somewhere. And hopefully they're professional enough to actually play well. That's where we're at. Mo's got to play.
People are saying his use of Chiesa is disgraceful. I won't lie to you, I'm not even sure Chiesa is going to be fit.
No.
Which is the sad part for all of us. He got injured in the warm-up for Marseille.
I didn't even know that.
So he got a knock when he did the press conference, didn't he? He left the group to do the press conference, and he got a knock when he wasn't there, so he didn't know he was injured. And then he tried to do the warm-up and couldn't.
Right.
Classic. I know. I think again, people.
He's done, isn't he?
I think Chiesa's not the guy. I love him. I think he's a bit of a cult hero, but he's not the guy.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. He might shock us all and somehow be available.
And scoring.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if he's going to score in a game, it's like this is the kind of game, isn't it? It's Qarabag at home. Yeah, he should be able to.
You'd love to assume so. So, can I ask what we're going with? Are we going with a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-2-2? Just tell me out of the 4. Maybe you're going up top.
Let's go say 4-3-3, but Vert in the 10. So you're going to have to pick
4-2-3-1.
So are you going Kate?
Effectively,
yeah.
Kate and Grav or Grav and Sob?
I think Grav and Sob is more likely.
Yeah.
Vert. Yeah.
Then who? Gakpo.
I think Jones and Gravenberg.
Do you?
Yeah, and Vert. I think. Well, by Szoboszlai, yeah.
But then Sobo's been run into the ground as well.
Sobo has. I think. Okay, if I'm going to go with it, then I'd go Jones and Gravenberg. I'd play Szoboszlai and I'd play Vert on the left. I wouldn't play Gakpo.
Okay.
So Mo then almost. Where was Mo play?
Right.
On the right with Ekitike in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going with if you were to say?
I think Mo will play because I just think.
I don't think anybody. I don't think we're all. I don't think anybody's doubting.
It's only. I actually don't think Kurtz will let this go. I don't think Kurtz will start because of what's been going on.
Yeah.
So I'll take him out, and I think maybe Macher doesn't start either. So I'll go with Szoboszlai and Grav, Vert in the 10, Mo, Gakpo, Ekitike. Look, if there's ever a game we're going to be able to blast away an opponent. This is probably the chance we're going to get. So get as many attackers on the pitch as you can, back yourselves, feel yourselves, and then hopefully we get some goals and enjoy it. And then you can start thinking about Newcastle while they're running around Paris.
Well, we hope, at least. But to be fair, we tend to not have an eye on the next game in our recent performances. Anyway, we are going to do our predictions. Get your predictions and goal scorers in the comments below. I do fear to read them out, so I won't lie to you guys. I don't know how positive you are feeling. I'll come to you in a second for yours. But whilst just all have a think, I'm going to tell you the fixtures for tomorrow that look tasty or interesting. If anyone fancies a bit of Athletic Club v Sporting, be my guest. That's on there. We obviously take on Qarabag at home. Barcelona face Copenhagen. Monaco face Juventus. Ajax face Olympiacos. The big one, PSG v Newcastle, which obviously has an impact on that top four. PSG sit in 6th at the moment. Newcastle sit on 7th, both on 13 points. So that is a big game. We've got Dortmund v Inter. Dortmund and Inter are both further down. They are 14th and 16th. Dortmund on 11 points with Inter on 12. If they get a win, Inter, they go on 15th.
15, yeah.
And I'm not sure that's enough to scrape. I think a lot of results would have to go their way for the likes of Chelsea, because one of PSG and Newcastle have to win. And we'll get on to Spurs, who also sit in 5th. We'll have a look at Real Madrid, who sit in 3rd as well. Napoli face Chelsea. That is a big game. Napoli are outside of the 24. They are 25th. They are on level points, though, with those inside the playoff places. They have to win, is basically what has to happen there. They have no other choice. Chelsea are 8th, so they would be in the top 8 just now. But like I said, Napoli have to beat them, so that'll be an interesting game. Eintracht Frankfurt face Spurs. I'd expect Spurs to win there. Eintracht Frankfurt sit on 4 points. Yeah, they're out. Yeah, they don't have a chance. So you'd probably put your money on Tottenham. Atletico Madrid face Bodo Glimt, who apparently beat the likes of Manchester City. So, I mean, I wouldn't lie to you. I wouldn't watch that game of football if I was you, but be my guest if you'd really like to. We've also got Leverkusen v Villarreal. Arsenal v Karat, who honestly...
They're going to win 8-8, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to do it all. Paphos v Slavia Prague, which, my God, I don't think anyone outside those two fan bases are watching that game of football. Manchester City take on Galatasaray. The only difference is they face them at home. City at the moment are in 11th, looking to try and nick one of those top 8. Where is, what are the team I've just said? Galatasaray? Galatasaray are in 17th. They are 3 points behind Manchester City. Could you imagine? I think City will win that, but just keep an eye on that one. Club Brugge take on Marseille. Benfica take on Real Madrid. Union Saint-Gilloise face Atalanta, and PSV host Bayern. So yeah, maybe like 2 or 3 games that are really interesting. PSG v Newcastle, Napoli, Chelsea.
Napoli is struggling a bit this year.
Yeah, they are.
In their league.
Yeah, they are.
Up and down.
And Benfica against Madrid would usually be tastier, because I think
Benfica aren't doing great.
Barca win like 6-5 or something early in the season there. They had a mad game, or at some point they had a mad game. It might have been last year. But I know they had a wild sort of comeback in them games. It was last year. It was just before the end of the group stage. They won like 6-5 or something. But they're struggling in their league as well, Benfica. So
yeah, they are.
Not much hope there.
They still got Mourinho in charge.
Benfica?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Do they
Well,
not?
there we go.
They're 3rd in the league.
Right, we're about to get into your predictions before I ask the lads. They're not my predictions. 2-1 to Qarabag, and Slot gets the sack. Well, we've started positive, guys. 3-1, I'll be there tomorrow. This is what I like to see. 3-1 Liverpool. Someone's put 10-0. I love it. It's not going to happen, but I absolutely love it. 3-0, but it'll be a bore fest. I mean, we win, every game
bore
pretty
fest.
much.
Jeez, take that every week, mate.
2-0 Wirtz and Dom. We've got 3-0 Hugo and Wirtz getting 2, which you absolutely love to see. 10-0 Qarabag, and away fans invade the pitch. Absolute cinema. Look, I'm here for the fun of it all. Someone's put 1-0 to Qarabag. Can see us creating a lot and they defend for their lives and get one on the break, honestly. I'd want to cry. 3-1 with Liverpool coming from behind. That wouldn't surprise me. We do enjoy conceding goals of football. Sensationally, a hard-fought 2-1 win for us, but I fear it'll be a 2-2. Don't have a good feeling. Players are clearly focused on the Champions League. 2-0. Look, a lot of these have been positive there. I'll deal with that. Ben, give me some positivity, please.
I think we're going to win.
Oh, hello.
I think it might be a similar feel to the Barnsley game. I think we might just stutter a bit, but ultimately we're a better team than them. So I think we'll get ourselves over the line. It might even be like a bit like the Barnsley game where you come out and the scoreline flatters us a little bit. Where ultimately that Barnsley game probably could have finished 2-1, and that would have been that. But we get 2 goals later on. So I will go with like 3-1, but I think we'll be a bit uncomfortable for parts. I think we'll lead for a lot of the game, but it might be like 2-1 for like a good while, and we're all a bit nervous. I feel like that might follow that sort of
goal scorers, please.
Oh my god, who did I say was going to start? I think Ekatike will get at least one, and I'll give one to. I'll give at least one to. I'll give one to Virgil. From a set piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair play.
We've been good in set piece in the Champions League. It's a bit strange. I think we've got the best set piece record in the Champions League.
Like for and against, yeah.
Absolutely mad that. Sam, what are you going with?
I think if we look at, we're patchy with goals conceded. So we conceded 2 to Fulham and then conceded 1 in 4 games. So I'm hoping that after the weekend, the professional pride, as I heard someone mention the other day, I was actually listening to your podcast. I really enjoyed the discussion this week. I recommend it. And I think that comes into it a lot now. So I think the lads are going to be independently and individually wanting to settle a score. So I think we don't concede. And I think we win the game 2-3-0. I think it's a long way for them to come. I think we feel ourselves a little bit win 3-0. At goal scorers, I'll say Gakpo. It's just the kind of thing he'll do. Ekatike, and I'll go Dom.
I like it. I was going to say Dom. I enjoy this comment of 9-3 the Reds, one of those games. I've not seen one of those games, but yeah, one of those games. Lee says my crystal ball says 3-1 to Qarabag. I'm not enjoying that, Lee. That's not a bit of me.
Wild that you can guess that, isn't it?
Yeah. Someone's put a celebration, which, look, I wouldn't be against. I'd like to see him actually get some goals. But yeah, I'm really hoping that we do come out and win. 3-1 against them. I wouldn't mind. I'd like Liverpool to go and batter them 5-0, to be perfectly honest with you. Do I see it happening? No. But look, like you said there, they've travelled quite a bit. The difference in levels, staggering really. But something just tells me that like it'll just be a load of nerves to me, and I don't know why I see that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with a 4-1 win to the Reds. Dom from a free kick. I'm going to go Wirtz 1, Ekatike 1, and I'll give Mo 1, because why not? Thank you so much for joining us for this one. Do join us tomorrow. We will have the watch along. We will be watching Liverpool v Qarabag, but we'll also keep you up to date with all the other 17 games that are going on there as much as we can. So yeah, do join us for that. But until then, have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.